Hey guys, welcome back to Comic Talk. Today we're reviewing The Batman. If you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. This is a spoiler review of The Batman. Let's turn this down a little bit. Yeah, so if you haven't seen The Batman, make sure to go watch that. Make sure to go watch The Batman. If you haven't watched it already, make sure to go watch it. Phenomenal movie, phenomenal movie. But, so this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it, go watch it. Go watch it. If you want to see my spoiler-free review of The Batman, make sure to follow me on Instagram, talk.comic on Instagram. I'll put that probably right here, but talk.comic on Instagram. I did my spoiler-free review on there. Just a few minute video on what my overall thoughts on it, without any spoilers at all. So if you want to see that, go watch that. But we're gonna be talking about some specific plot points, and so if you haven't seen it, go watch it. I'm going to be talking about first some stuff that I did not like about the movie. Some of the stuff I did not like about the movie was the Batsuit. I grew on the Batsuit. I watched it twice. This is me right after I watched it. So for the second time, the first time I watched it, I gave my spoiler-free review, and I wrote some of these stuff down. So the Batsuit, it grew on me the second time I watched it. I think I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it, but the first time I watched it, it didn't really. I just didn't feel. I wasn't feeling the Batsuit, but now that I watched it a second time, I did enjoy it, and I did. I think I enjoyed it more watching it the second time, watching, figuring out all the different stuff, and I think it was a better watch the second time. Another thing I didn't like was the relationship between Catwoman and Batman. It felt a little bit forced. It didn't feel like, oh my god, this is so distracting to the movie, but it felt a little bit forced. But that's about it. It didn't feel. This is just a nitpick again. Not really. Not really. Not really a gripe. It wasn't. It wasn't a movie ruiner for me. It wasn't like, oh my god, I can't see. This is the worst movie now because of their relationship. I get they're in the comics. I get it that they're in the they're together in a relationship, but it just didn't feel that cohesive in the movie. The other thing, another relationship I did not like was the Batman, Bruce Wayne and Alfred. Alfred and Bruce's relationship didn't feel as good to me as other Batman and Alfred relationship, or Bruce and Alfred relationships. So as for Michael Keaton and Alfred, Michael Keaton's Batman, the relationship between Alfred was great. Even like George Clooney and was the same Alfred as Michael Keaton. They had a better relationship, I think, in Batman and Robin than they did in the Batman in this movie. Michael Caine and Christian Bale had a wonderful relationship. Alfred and Bruce Wayne in those movies, the Dark Knight trilogy, had a wonderful relationship in that. But this one, I did not feel that the relationship was that. It wasn't a movie ruiner for me, but I just didn't feel the relationship how I usually feel them in like other adaptations of Batman, and even in the animated series or the Arkham games. I didn't feel like this was probably like the worst relationship between Alfred and Bruce Wayne for me. Um, but other than that, those are the only gripes I really have with the movie. Another, maybe it's kind of a gripe, kind of not. I talked about it with my friends before we went to go see it for the first time. I didn't like. I didn't want the Joker to be in the next movie. I liked how Riddler. They gave the spotlight to Riddler, who maybe so do know who he is because of Jim Carrey in Batman Forever, but they gave him a real shot in the movie in Catwoman and the Penguin. But the Riddler, they gave him a shot in the movie as the kind of the main antagonist in the movie, and I thought that was really cool. And I thought it does show a better detective side. That's what one of the things I do love about the Riddler is he brings out the detective side of Batman. Some other characters do, but I think the Riddler does bring out the best in Batman as quality as like the detective side, world's greatest detective. So we really got to see that in this movie. Another thing, what I was talking about before, I really don't think the Joker. I love the Joker. Joker is Batman's my guy. He's favorite superhero. So obviously the Joker is one of my favorite characters. Obviously he's one of if not the best comic book villain of all time. But we've seen it so many times. We've seen it with Heath Ledger. We've seen it with Joaquin Phoenix. We've seen it with Jack Nicholson, Cesar Romero. I'm not saying never put Joker in it, but I don't think that maybe because his track record is usually second or third, first or second movie he's in the Batman franchise. Um, I think he there's more characters that we can explore with Batman. Calendar Man, Mad Hatter. My friend was saying maybe we could do a horror. It would be cool to see, especially after seeing the movie, a horror style Batman movie, maybe an Arkham Asylum. That would be really cool. But again, there's Two Face. There's Killer Croc, the Mad Hatter. All these different villains that we haven't explored. Firefly, the Clock King. There's so many villains that we haven't explored on live action that we could see, and not be the Joker. I'm not saying never have the Joker in, but maybe keep him away for a little bit. Because I don't know if they're doing a trilogy or what's the deal with it. Usually it's a trilogy kind of thing, but maybe we're gonna do more because it's Batman. Explore other villains. Like I know Ben Affleck's solo movie was supposed to be facing off against Deathstroke, which I think would be really cool. Maybe we could do that with this movie. Have Deathstroke in the next movie. Uh, there's so many other villains that Batman has that we can explore. Going on a tangent, I know. Okay, let me tell you about the stuff I do like in the movie. The Penguin. Colin Farrell as the Penguin did a phenomenal job. He probably one of the best characters in the movie. He did a phenomenal job. The way just the way he talked, and he portrayed it as like more of an Italian mobster, which I thought was pretty cool. And I think he was probably the best character in the movie. Every time he talked or said anything, everybody in the theater laughed, and I laughed, and it was one of the more funny parts of the movie. Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and the Penguin itself, I think he killed it as the Penguin. The prosthetics and the people who did the makeup and prosthetics for him, phenomenal. I couldn't even tell it was Colin Farrell. So yeah, I couldn't even tell that it was him. Another thing I did like was Batman's slow walk. When that first scene when they're showing shadows and people like not knowing if he's gonna be in the shadow or if he's not, if he's in the shadow. I'm like, if he's in the shadow, I don't want to be there. I like how they portrayed that, where he's very scary and it's very unknown. If he in the shadow, if he's in the shadow, I'm not gonna be here when he comes out of that shadow. And when he beats up that gang or whatever with the paint on their face or whatever, because it's Halloween, gives me Arkham Knight vibes, which is pretty cool. But when he slow walks out I thought that was very creepy and very Batman like, how he would be very intimidating just by his walk. And I was like, oh, this is the most intimidating Batman I've ever seen. I thought that was really cool about the Batman. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman, I think she killed it, as well as Penguin. I think she killed it as Catwoman. She did a phenomenal job. She looks the part. Her Catwoman costume does remind me of the Arkham game, so I think maybe they took a liberty, inspiration, not liberty, inspirations from the Arkham games, especially Arkham City and Arkham Knight. I think they took maybe some style from that, or just from the comics, and it's very not accurate to the comics, but I think they did a really good job making it look like it is from the comics and making it their own at the same time, which I thought was really cool. The tone of the movie, I really love the tone of the movie. A lot of people are comparing it to The Dark Knight, which I will be doing a video on that on my Instagram. So make sure to follow me to, because a lot of people are saying, because I put it on post on my Instagram, a lot of people said that this movie is better than The Dark Knight. And I will be explaining that on my Instagram, talk.comic on Instagram, and make sure to follow me there, which I will be posting the video of that. So yeah, but very the tone of the movie, I think they did very well. I had faith in Matt Reeves because he directed the last two Planet of the Apes movies, and I thought those were phenomenal. So I was like, okay, this is very good. Um, Alfred, I didn't like. Was one of those things where he was alright, but I don't think he was the best Alfred. I Andy Serkis is a great actor. Don't get me wrong. So hopefully, within those next movies that we get with him, that will be a cool Alfred and maybe a better relationship with Bruce. Riddler getting a spotlight again. Riddler making the detective, bringing out more of the detective side of Batman, which we haven't really seen in a lot of other movies, except maybe The Dark Knight. We got to see a little bit more of the detective story, but again, he is the world's greatest detective, so it does bring out a little bit more of of that detective side, which I thought was really cool. The fight scenes were really awesome as well. I loved the fight scenes, the way he fought. I thought that was really cool, and again, it reminds me of the Arkham games a little bit, especially Arkham Knight, and especially how his suit was designed. I think it was really cool. I wish he used more of his gadgets. Maybe in the future he'll use more of his gadgets, but I think he was really the physicality and just the fight scenes were really cool. What else? Okay, do you guys remember the twins when they go into when Bruce Wayne or Batman goes into the nightclub, the Iceberg Lounge, to visit Penguin and Falcone? You know, it's two twins who open the door. When I first saw that, I was like, I wonder if that is Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Again, they're from the comics. I know they don't sound like Batman villains if you don't know Batman. If you played Arkham Asylum, you might have heard of them, but I don't think I've ever read a comic with them in it. But I know they've been a part of Batman for like forever. And Tweedledee Tweedledum, a lot of his villains are from like the Mad Hatter as well, from Alice in Wonderland. They took from Alice in Wonderland. So, but in the comics, they are not exactly twins. They are cousins, but they look so much alike that they are. Everybody just thinks that they're twins. So I was wondering if that maybe, and they're kind of like mobsters, kind of thing, whatever. I guess it depends on which era of the comics you're looking at, but they are Tweedledee. I don't know if it's Tweedledee Tweedledum. I called it here first. I haven't seen anybody really talk about that, so I don't know if anybody else beat me to the punch. But that's what I first thought when I saw the twins. I just thought I would throw this in the review. Uh, okay, another thing I really loved about this Batman, where it's the first time we get to see like the dark makeup that we when he takes off the mask and whatever, we get to see like the dark circles around his eyes, because we know every Batman has that. That's what I thought was cool. But the what is it? We only get to see a little bit of the Batcar. The Batcar was really cool. Again, I like how the evolution of the Batcar is. We get from Adam West just a regular car with a Bat logo on it, just maybe a little bit of a tricked out car, but it still like looks like a regular car. Then we get to Michael Keaton's. That's where most people think of what the Batmobile should look like, is in the in Batman with Michael Keaton, 1989, and that's what a lot of people took inspiration from. Even in the Arkham games with Arkham Asylum Batmobile, the the animated series Batmobile took inspiration from that Batmobile, and then it kept getting like in the Dark Knight trilogy, it became a tank. Now in the Batman vs Superman universe, it was even a real tank because it actually shot real bullets and stuff like that. In the Arkham game, it became even a tank as well. But now it's cool to see it back to the evolution of just a tricked out car, basically, which I thought was really cool. Just evolution of just from it going from Adam West to a car, and then 2022 back to a car. That's what I just think it's really cool. Him not even riding around in the Batmobile, because him riding in the motorcycle when he just puts on the helmet, I thought that was really cool. I thought that was a really interesting take on him riding around, because if he's riding around as Batman, then you'll be like, that's Batman. Why is he running around as Batman? And no one knows who he is because he has the helmet on. You can't see his face. And he's just in a regular motorcycle. It's not a tricked out motorcycle like the Dark Knight trilogy motorcycle. It's not tricked out, and you don't see who he is, and he gets to move around freely within the night because he's famous as Bruce Wayne, and people know who Batman is. So, and this is a great way to him discover him as Batman. So that's really cool. Scared me. My computers went off. Like, oh my god, that scared me so much. Oh my god. Uh, the person who played James Gordon, I don't know the actor's name, but he did a phenomenal job as James Gordon. I think I think that was the best relationship with Bruce or Batman and James Gordon. I think he did a phenomenal job as James Gordon. The relationship between Bruce and James Gordon was phenomenal, or Batman and James Gordon, if you will, was awesome. And the guy who played the Riddler was awesome as well. I think this was perfectly cast. But again, James Gordon, I think, had the best relationship with the Batman, how he handled the Batman. And one last thing before I sign off. They didn't show his parents dying, which I loved. I think a lot of people didn't like how, because we kept seeing it, because we've seen it again in the Michael Keaton, we've seen it in the Dark Knight, we've seen it in the animated series, we've seen it in the video games, we've seen it, in the animated, in the video games, in the movies. We've already seen it so many times, and they do reference it in the movie, but we don't have to see. We already know what happens. We already know what happened to his parents. We already know that in the dark alley they get shot. We already know. So I'm glad that they didn't show that again in this movie. But yeah, again, phenomenal. I called it on this channel. Robert Pattinson I think he's going to surprise a lot of people who didn't have faith that he was going to be a great Batman. I know a lot of people were saying, oh, I can't believe he's Batman, Twilight guy, how's he going to be Batman? I was like, give him a chance. I know he's going to have a good chance because I trust the director. I really did trust Matt Reeves bringing us a wonderful, cool Batman, and he did. He delivered. I think and Robert Pattinson is going to surprise a lot of people of him as Batman. So he didn't surprise me because I knew I had faith. I had faith that he was going to be a great Batman. But yeah, overall, I think this was a great movie. I think the first time I would give it like an 8 out of 10, but I think second time seeing it, I think it was better. Second time watching it was a 9 out of 10. Oop. Well, hopefully we get still on my phone. Okay, hopefully still on my phone. But if you guys haven't followed me on Instagram, make sure to follow me on Instagram at talk.comic on Instagram. Make sure to follow me there. Be posting a lot more Batman stuff on there as well. I will be posting more but yeah, more Batman stuff. Be posting on there more as well as on the YouTube channel. Posting there and on the YouTube channel as well. Hopefully we'll start getting TikTok going and we'll be posting on there. But I'll be letting you guys know on there. Let me know what you guys thought of the Batman movie. Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? What was your guys' favorite scene in the movie? Let me know in the comment section below. Like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next week.